Wonderful. And so we like a break in transmission just now. Let's hope we continue to live our best life. And so in 2020, these words in 2020 they were powerful, powerful, powerful things that happened in 2020. Because in 2020, what happened was that there was so much going on about anti-black racism. But then I started getting a lot of invites, Monique. And then I started speaking to the people who are inviting me in. And I said to them, what I'm not hearing in the conversation is the self-care part. I said, we are going through what's going on with George Floyd. We're holding space. We're doing all of that. But what I'm not hearing is the self-care piece. And so I suggested to a lot of organizations to hire me back to have a conversation about what it means to take care of ourselves in times like this. And in 2020, I created the presentation, A Little More Oil in the Lamp. And if you understand the terminology and the idea of a kerosene oil lamp, you understand that this was what our ancestors and many of our grandparents, including myself, when I went to the country, we use this. This is real. It's still being used in many spaces to see the light, to light up the place. And I use the term a little more oil in the lamp because then this would have run low. This would run very low, absolute low, if you did not have enough oil in the lamp. This would be running low if you didn't have your wick trimmed properly. It would run low in so many ways and spaces. And so it's important for you to understand why this was so important to me to use as a learning. And look at that on the board. I just want you to know, as you see on the board, is the opportunity I had to present. Oh, sorry. Give me a minute. Don't worry. Is the opportunity I had to present this particular topic a number of times. I had a number of opportunities to share this topic because it was needed and people requested it. And so what happened is the time it took for me to share, I want you to notice how every single topic is being framed. A little more oil in the lamp, self-care and well-being for Black employees. A little more, I hope you notice how I'm framing it. A little more oil in the lamp in 2022, self-care and anti-racism work. A little more oil in the lamp down there, again, self-care and anti-racism work. And so this happened for a number of time and a number of years as I'm doing the work. What it felt like, what it meant for me to do this work. And so in 2024, I went back to Ghana, like I said, and I engaged in finishing up my journey of going to some more museum, to slave dungeon. I spent more time in my learning and my unlearning. This is one of the most powerful spaces I've been. It's in Ghana, they call it Ninchinchin Museum. I can show you the link to it. And this is all sculpture. And this same artist, by the way, he has, I just saw him on the news that he has brought hundreds of these sculptures to America on one of those big museums for an installment. And when I go back next year, I'm taking some friends with me, and this is a place we'll also visit. And this was a powerful moment for me. And when I tell you this is not just museum energy, but it is ancestral and teaching, I experienced something that I didn't experience ever before. So when you go, there's properties, many acres, a lot of acres of property, and they take you through different spaces. And when you come to this part, when you arrive at this part of the property, going into this space, you have to take off your shoes, and they do a ritual before you can get into that space. And I could tell you, as I entered that space, I can tell you I lost it. And that's why I understand what, spiritual, African spirituality, healing, those things we have to really connect with. And that's a different part of the book I'm going to talk about, because I'm going to talk about how the impact of church and slavery. You have to remember slave owners go to church every Sunday. The same person who beat our ancestors, take our ancestors to church and remind our ancestors that the Lord said they have to obey because they're a servant, they're masters. Our religion has been weaponized. And it's hard for many of us because we are so close, including myself, with religion that we don't even realize the damage that religion has done to us as Black folks. And so I know it can be one of the most courageous topic, tricky topics, because it's one of those that we trust so much into that, and then we understand. So right after I left here, right after this very day, I wanted to end my trip in 4 days of African luxury and softness. Like I tell you, it was very intentional for this trip. So I did the dungeon, I did this museum, I did another one, and then I went and I arrived in this absolutely fabulous resort at the banks of the Volta River in east part of Ghana. And this day, it was August the 21st, last year, 2014. And I checked in. If you look on the picture on the left, you see that the river is behind me. You see the sand on the ground, and I sat there. And I had a drink. That's me, I love a picture, living my best life. And I talked and I wrote about not being in resistance mode, not being in survival mode, not being in resilience mode, and I'm wrapped in softness. And when you say these things, you post them, you feel cute, and you believe it. But something happened to me that night. I sat down just having my drink. This was finished at my dinner, and I sat there. And when I tell you, I looked over the river and I looked behind me and they were having a party. As a matter of fact, the Ministry of Finance of Ghana was having their staff party or something, a retreat or something. And I was far apart from them, and I just saw tons of Black people just singing and dancing, and the music. Right hours after I came from this, you have to remember the timeline. Hours after I came from this, checked into this fabulous place, and this was my evening. And I sat there, and I whispered to myself, I said, "Dear ancestors, softness is here." That has never left me. I said, "Dear ancestors, there is softness here." And I want you to understand, like you asked Isaiah about hope, you have to cultivate that. You have to work on that. You have to believe. You have to keep that fire burning, like we said, with the oil in the lamp. You have to water that hope. You have to water. That's why we said when you dream, Isaiah, you don't just dream. You water your dreams. You nurture your dreams. You act upon your dreams. When I tell myself I want to be a professor, then I do my study. When I tell myself I want to own a beautiful home that feels like I'm at a resort, then I work hard to create that home for myself. So when you have that hope, it has to be nurtured. It's the same way you would say to a student, well, I'm holding high expectations for all of you. How many teachers do you think that say to a group of students, I am going to hold high expectations for you? You know where the controversy comes in? The supporting of the high expectations. So I can hold high expectations for all of you, but unless I support that high expectation, then there's no such thing. You will continue to be in survival mode, resistance mode, and resilience mode because you're trying to survive. And so I made this video, which I won't play right now. I'm going to play that maybe later on. I made this video, and this was this year. This very year I made this video. And in this video, I talked about how intentional this trip is for me. And I said to them, for this particular trip, I want to engage in softness. And so I want you to realize what happened when you do that. The number of people online who would say to me, are you still in Africa? Are you still in Ghana? Where are you, Dr. Campbell? Where is this? It's the underlying surprise of the level of softness that can be found in Africa, because you have to remember that we don't get to see that. When I was growing up in Jamaica and you see a picture of Africa, you see a little black boy with a big belly and he's suffering from malnutrition. That was the poster picture of Africa. Nobody showed me hotels and any of this. Nobody told us that. We thought, and many of us grew up in a space where we thought Africa was this place where if you go there, you just have nothing to eat, and a matter of fact, we don't even get to go there. We don't even know if plane went there. That's how damaging that is. And so you have to understand the intentionality with which each and every one of us have to work. Now, here comes where I'm going to go with this. We have to intentionally work on our softness. I want you to write that down for me. We have to intentionally work on that. So what do I mean by that? I talk about joy a lot, but I always preface that by saying, I cultivate my joy. I protect my joy. I sustain my joy. You add to my joy. And you can also attempt to subtract from my joy. You have to be intentional about it. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. So here comes a picture that we all fall in love with. I have used this picture maybe 100 times in 100 different presentations. We fell in love with this picture because this picture gave us status. It gave us an applause. It gave us a win. Because we are, many of us, including myself, I am the embodiment of this picture. Coming from a hard time, a hard place, coming from having lack, coming from not, know what it is. No, I know what it is to not be on a field trip in elementary school because my parent couldn't afford the field trip. I told the story that the first time I saw a birthday cake with my name on it, I was 25. People were shocked. The first time I saw my name on a birthday cake, I was a teacher at Lanaman's Prep School in Jamaica. And they brought a cake in the class to surprise Mr. Campbell for his birthday. And I didn't know, you know what I said when they said, I don't know if it's trauma or trigger, whatever you want to use at that time. But I've never had my name on a birthday cake before. I've wanted it, but that was luxury. And I burst out crying and I had to go to the principal's office. The children thought they did something wrong. I had to come back to explain to them how happy Mr. Campbell was. But I've never seen my name on a cake before. And I didn't know how to react to it. And I end up crying. I was 25. I have bought a lot of cakes in my last 25 years. A lot of cake. And so I know what this is. But here is what I want you to understand. This is also possible. And this is, I have used a lot of work, Monique, to replace this with this. Because the truth is, our students, now we get to freedom dreaming, our students, many of you, our black women, I'm going to get to that in a minute, should not have to always be resilient, strong, proud, amazing, all those extra layers of stuff. A soldier, a resistor, a foot soldier, all the words that we love so much to defend ourselves. If we were granted and given the level of softness, now get ready for what I'm going to say, the level of softness that we deserve. This is where a lot of people struggle, and it's not going to take a lecture to fix it. It's going to take years of work for some people, because there are people today who do not even know what they deserve. People are in different kinds of situations and institutions and do not know what they deserve, because nobody nurtures them, water them, to encourage them. Let me tell you something. When I do this workshop, and I go into content, people look at me and they say, Dr. Campbell, you are something else. I say to them, tell me, what is the water in your classroom? What is the sunlight? What is the manure? How many of you as educators know how to prune? How to pick up dead leaves? How to how to use an insecticide, metaphorically speaking, our students will not just grow and blossom. And I think a lot of us as educators have gotten it wrong because we think if I just go to school and I teach people's children, then they are going to just bloom and blossom. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. I know, I think Dorcas, I think you're in the medical field. They are black, right? They are black clients and black patients that if you don't do that extra, my best friend is a medical doctor in the US. So I know this. There are some patients who are, especially black patients, will never get surgery. There's research on it. There are tons of research. You could Google them right now of how black folks and indigenous folks and racialized folks have been treated in the medical field. You remember black woman is what they do a lot of experiment on. You have to know what you know. And that is why I push hard with my young people to say you have to know your history. You have to understand how black women have been treated, have been abused, have been used, put in cages in human zoo. You have to understand these are not fairy tale. This is not Hansel and Gretel and Rapunzel. This is real truth. So I want you to know what you deserve. And if you don't know that, you'll always be back of the line. In 2025, they will ask you to stay at the back of the bus. It's happening every day. It's happened to me. I'm speaking in metaphor. But the way they treat you, you just know they're trying to say to you, stay at the back of the bus. Don't drink at the same fountain with me. You are the performer, but you don't get to walk to the front door. You have to remember those things. That's your history. There are singers alive today, black singers, who was performing big hotels in America and could not walk in the front door, could not swim in the pool, and they are still alive. So I'm not giving you a fairy tale for 50 years or 100 years ago. So I want you to understand. So who benefits from our overwork? Let's get into this now. Who benefits from our overwork? I want you to understand. There's a myth that they use, meritocracy. It's a lot going on in Florida talking about, well, if all of us do this and we can pull up by our bootstraps. And many of us as black folks, we just didn't know what it means, so we just repeat it. Only to realize, well, I don't have any bootstrap. I don't even have any boots. So when the pull up by the bootstrap was going on, and we thought we were included, only to look down and realize we don't have any bootstraps, and only to look further and realize we don't even have boots on. And so when we talk about equity, this is what I have to go there, and equality, and everybody having a level of access and opportunity, you have to come to grips that everyone do not have the same access in your classrooms, in your workplaces, in your spaces, in your neighborhoods. How, as an educator, I can pour in softness? That's a big question for you. And so we talk about that. Look at the next slide, everybody. So this is where I'm going to challenge some of us. And this is a heavy part that I need to challenge many of us. A lot of us, we are guilty in this space because we continue to breastfeed the things we should disrupt. I want you to understand how serious I am about this particular slide. We continue to give life, essential life, to the very things we want to disrupt. Let me give you an example what that looks like for those of you. You have heard black folks talking about going to work and have to overwork themselves and have to be on every committee to be given. You have to do twice as much to get half the respect. And many of us, we in order to be seen, we think we need to be on every committee. And I'm saying it's very, very clear for this recording. I have been intentional about those things, even here at OISE. I am a hard worker, but you're not going to abuse me. I have put myself off committee, and I've written to people in authority asking not to be asked to be on certain committees again, because I see where that goes, and I've given enough time, and I need to now rest. I want you to understand how important it is for you and I to disrupt. But I'm going to explain something to you why we are in such a hard place at times. And it's a skill. It's a skill. Isaiah, you asked a question about the hope. It's a skill to balance it. And I keep on using my hands. I hope you see my how I'm doing my hands. Because if it's balanced, Isaiah, then it would be like this. But I keep going at this because I don't think we have a balance. It's almost like a seesaw. The good news, it's not this. It's not this, but it's this. It's a juggling. Because let me say this with all my heart. For us to maintain BFEP, I have to do extra time and extra work. I put in a lot of non-paid hours. But for me, that is necessary and important to have so many black students in this space. So that's where I keep doing this. So you have to ask yourself, what are the things that I need to disrupt? What are the things I need to juggle? What are the things I need to balance? What are the things I need to embrace? And how do I have community to help me to get this work done? Because you can't do it by yourself. So I want to take a minute also to highlight the pressure on the work that black women have held. I don't know if you realize, but when the election happened in America the other day, and when they realized that we didn't choose the black woman, all of a sudden on social media, I'm sure you can Google and find it right now, everybody was saying, black woman, it's your time to rest. And a lot of black women have taken that on in very, very deliberate ways. And I applaud those who realize they need to rest. And when they look outside and they see the fight going on, they need to decide it's not my fight. Let me tell you one of the things. I need to stop the screen for this. Let me tell you one of the big mistakes that a lot of us in equity work and we are helpers, we make. We feel like we need to fix everything that is broken. You can't fix everything that is broken. And I also see something happening. Because I am such an activist voice and such a strong voice out there, I have had people who have inboxed me to be like, Dr. Campbell, I am out here fighting for something I don't see you fighting. Oh, I've had that. Oh, I have had that. Oh, I have had that. And I've actually said to people, well, you're going through the bandwagon phase because they know I don't play. You all know I don't play. And you're new to this. And then I have to break it down to them. Before demonstrating and tweeting and hashtagging was in style, I was doing this work before they had no titles for it. So you are new to the work. I love what you're doing. Welcome to the space, but leave me the hell alone. You don't get to call me out to say, come in the field, come and labor in the field. Because when I'm laboring, you wasn't even born, some of you. I keep on telling them that as young as I look, I just take care of myself. Come on, softness. Come on, softness. If you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to get to be like me. Oh, I'm saying that very strong. Come on, softness. Come on, moisturize. Come on, rest. Come on, drinking a cup of tea when you need to. Come on, taking a long walk when you need to. Come on, leaving the crowd and going to be replenished when you need to. Come on, drinking your water and minding your business so you can water your grass so your grass could be green. And I had to make sure I explained that to you because oftentimes I see many of you young teachers, you are struggling to fix the entire school. And I want to get into that for a minute to explain to you that you will be able to do a lot. But don't feel burdened down that you can't fix the entire school. Ask yourself, and I'm going to close later on with a certain statement. Ask yourself, what can I do What can I do to disrupt deficit thinking in the school that I'm going to be at? What can I do when I see hurt and harm and damage being done? Ask yourself, what can I do to water my students? Go back to this whenever you are in that situation and ask yourself, how can I bring the water? We're going to close later on with that very phrase. How can I bring the water? Ask yourself, because if you ask yourself that, you're going to realize how powerful you can do the work. Let me give you a perfect example of what that looks like. Right now, there's a group of Black authors working with me to write a book. I want you to listen to me carefully. I'm going to give you a trend. I want to share something with you. It's very important. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So I was invited by a professor, Professor Larry Swartz, to write this book, Stop the Hate. I did a lot of work on this book. I put space in it for Blackness and BIPOC, and we talk about it. And it's a lot, and it's in a lot of schools. They have sold thousands of copies. As a matter of fact, on record, I can tell you, it's the best-selling book I've ever done so far. I have bought myself SOFTNESS things out of the money I get back for this book. Trust me when I tell you. And then I decide to go there. I got an opportunity to do another book. I want you to listen to me carefully. Teachers in the room, educators in the room, community people in the room. Then I use my power. I use my access. I use my pedagogy. I use my voice. And I said, let me write more. And in this book are a whole lot of authors and a lot of stuff going on. I see this 10 minutes meeting again. I think something is going on. It says, okay, there's something going on with I think it's the university system. So if you get kicked out one more time, we'll come back for a final round. Apparently, it's telling me it's going to time out in 10 minutes again. And I don't think there's nothing I can do. I think I need to update, they said, to a pro or something. We'll survive. The next book I'm writing, everybody, is about affirming Blackness. So what I want to share with all my educators in the room is that you can use whatever you have. If you're a poet, I know a poet right now who has spent his time working on poems that talk about Blackness and strengthening Black people, talking about Black air, talking about Black joy, talking about Black futures. I know people who are doing cartoons, and they're doing what do you call it, the cartoon thing, and they're talking about Black futures. I went to a presentation the other day, and it's about Black girls in sci-fi in the future. So think about the ways in which you can do that. And so think about the thing that we have to, the extra work that we have to do. But here's where I want to take you. I want to take you here. Self-care as political warfare. I want to take you there. I want you to understand that taking care of yourself is important and it's necessary. It's not a game. It's not a joke. It's not a what if. It's not a maybe. It's absolutely, thank you, Afrofuturism. See, there's always somebody to help me. Afrofuturism. Thank you, Dr. Monroe. So you have to come to the space so you understand that and I want you to notice, it is not self-indulgence. Audre Lorde said this. This is not self-indulgence. It's self-preservation. It is an act of political warfare for us to be here. Do you know how amazing and powerful it is when we get together and all you can see is a genuine demonstration of Black joy? That's an amazing thing. And so you have to understand what that looks like. I said this not in 2025, so I'm going to have to edit that code properly. But I said this in last year, I must be well enough to be good enough. You as educators, You have to take care of yourself so you are well enough to be good enough. Take care of yourself so you can be present. You can show up for others. I am telling you right now, I am happy that I'm able to show up for others, because so many of us need someone to show up for us. But if you are not taking care of yourself, you are not going to be full enough to give to others. And so for me, I talk about pausing without guilt. What does it mean for you to pause without guilt? Where do you currently find rest, and where do you resist it? We have to measure ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves. I am bringing this very strong to you today because I want you to understand the power that is in self-care. Now, don't get me wrong. Every now and then I have what I would call a heavy day or a heavy week. And I think because of a number of things that many of us we do, we're going to have those heavy days. Yesterday I left my house at 7 a.m. and I drove into my car park, my driveway yesterday, last night at 9, I think it was 9:20. I left Oisel yesterday at maybe 8 p.m. That was needed and necessary, and I left in joy. So I technically spent 12 hours yesterday at Oisel, but I was 12 hours engaging in what I love to do, teaching, writing, meeting, and hosting something for the center. But the emphasis here is on rest. So what kind of day am I having today? What kind of night did I have? How did I take care of myself? You have to put in those spaces of taking care of yourself. So yes, it's about time management as well. I have had a rough week. I have had weeks where everything is so rough. It's busy. And then I look at my schedule and I say Sunday or Saturday evening, I'm just going to turn it off. Or I've locked down Friday afternoon, 2 p.m. When I said lockdown, I mean everything is done. Computer's off and it's just me and TV and relaxing. I'm going to have a good meal. I'm going to just relax. So you have to find out what it is that gives you pause. How are you taking pause? How are you taking pause? How are you practicing your boundaries? I said to people that I don't work for free. The truth is, I do not work for free. But I have offered many communities and opportunities to do something for free. I have been offered honorarium to do things, and I have given back as a payment, as a contribution. But that's what I get to do. You don't exploit my work. And I have had that. If I tell you stories, you'd be surprised. I have had to challenge people that have asked me to do work because they demanded my service and then dictate to me what I deserve. And I have to say, find somebody else. I've had to do 3 incidents where I had to challenge organizations. Challenge. When I say challenge, I mean challenge. Because from the get-go, they wanted to say to me, we want you, but this is what you can get paid. Now, I'm not talking about a situation where it's a not-for-profit or it's a struggling organization. I'm talking about people who their salary scale is in the 200,000 bracket and want to look and say that to me. And the same, because I've done my research and I'm making clear I say this for the recording. I have done my research in those same organizations where they have had guest speakers and presenters who have been offered 3 times what they wanted to offer me. And so you have to know how to protect your rest, your family, your joy, your skill, your craft, your talent. You work hard to be here. You are deserving. And that's one thing I know people are sometimes challenged by me because they realize in 5 minutes speaking to me that I am really about what I deserve. And so they can't come to me with the foolishness. And so it's abusive. So what are the call to actions? I'm going to do this quick before we get a break because it's going to pop out again. I'm calling you to know who you are. Work on knowing who you are. Many of us, we don't. Work on knowing yourself in your fullness. Work on knowing who you are in your fullness. I'm calling on you to create belonging for yourself and for those around you, and especially for your students. I'm calling on you to affirm who you are and affirm others. You see, a lot of times people try to be, I'm going to go there for a very particular reason. I have seen people who are forcing and being so proud how selfless they are, only to realize how destroyed they are. And they end up, I know people who help so much, they are bitter. I'm going to repeat that. They help so much, they are bitter. You won't get that bitterness from me ever. Because what I'm going to do is affirm myself, and then I'm going to affirm you. When I work with my students, they could tell you I compliment them. But I also know that I deserve compliment as well. I deserve affirmation as well. And I seek it out from spaces where I know I get it. And I have people in my life who affirm me. When I'm engaging in a relationship with anybody, I tell that person, you have to, as much as I affirm them, I have to be affirmed. Yes, I know I'm gorgeous, but I need you to tell me I am gorgeous. Yes, I know I'm amazing, but I want you, my partner, to tell me I'm amazing. Yes, I know I cook the oxtail good, but I need you to say to me, babes, this oxtail is so delicious. It's the #1 oxtail in the world. I need to